Welcome back to Betide. In this video, we are going to set up EOS Integration Kit V3, which released on the New Year's evening. It has basically all the features that everyone was asking for so long. Anti-cheat is finally here. Host migration, at least a basic support is there now. The nodes are much easier to use. You can do find sessions by ID and everything like the change logs are on GitHub, which I will link in the description if you want to have a better look, of course. Now with EIK version 3.1, which is just releasing in 6 days, Android support would be made much better. iOS is already supported and running good. Now, one more thing that we are trying to finish is the Quest login. So you can add Quest, Google or Apple login, and that would be much better in the 3.1 version. These plugins are sponsored by you, so thanks a lot for doing that. uh, that's kept aside. Keeping that aside, if you have any issues with the plugin itself or anything that you need help with, reach out to us on Discord. A lot of people are there who can help you out and get your project up and running. Create issues on GitHub if you find any, but that said, let's get started. So welcome back to the screen, and now let's get to work. So I'm creating a new project which would be named EOS test. This is a complete blueprint project. You don't need any C++ class until and unless you are going to package the project, which I will show in the video ahead. I'm using the first person template again by default settings, and I will create it. Let's let the project open up. Now on our GitHub, the releases section is there, but before that, make sure to start the plugin. Now let's go to the releases section. Now, if you're using the marketplace plugin, you don't need to marketplace version. You don't need to do these stuff. So now scroll down and download the version that you're using this for. We need to download the 5.3 version. I will download it. Now, again, if you're using the marketplace version, you just need to go to your project settings, plugins, and enable the plugin itself. Now the plugin is extracted here. Let's copy this up from here. So the like it should have only two folders, source and resource. So copy it, go to the project, create a new folder which would be named plugins. Now, because if your project already has a plugins folder, feel free to paste it there, but we are creating one because we did not have one. Now paste the plugin here, reopen the project. Now you see this error because I downloaded the wrong version of the plugin. You will not get it until and unless you had some C++ class and it requires recompiling. Just press yes and it will build it in the background and it will open up the project for you. The project is here. Let's go to the plugin section and check the right version is 3.0.1. That is the version that should be enabled. Now let's go to project settings, EOS Integration Kit. And always I would suggest enable the automatic setup EIK and that will make the editor restart. What it handles is basically it makes EIK the default subsystem. It basically adds the net driver settings and stuff like that. Now let's go to our dev portal for EOS, and here I would be creating a new product from start. So don't worry, you won't be missing anything. Now, if you don't have an organization, you will have to make one, but other than that, there's nothing step that I missed here. Just create a new project, which I'm going to name EIK version 3. I don't know why I wrote 2, but yeah, EIK version 3, and create. The product is created. Let's open it up. And you see we don't have any clients and applications and we need to create it. We only have the product ID and we need a lot of things in the artifacts. Let's create a default artifact that we will name client. But before that, let's name this client. And we will also name the default artifact that the game has to use client. Right. Now let's set up our clients and our application. So the first thing is on the clients, we will have to add a client policy. Now client policy is the thing that the client will follow and will generate an ID for. So the client policy name, I usually name this client main policy because just to make it main. Now there are multiple types of predefined policies, but I would suggest create your own policy. If you're using a peer-to-peer or listen server setup, just use peer-to-peer. But in for development, I would suggest create a custom policy which has everything enabled so you don't get any issues while testing the game. So I'm just going to quickly enable all of these. Yeah, I'm not that quick in real life. That was, of course, running at, I think so, 500 x speed. But now let's go and create a new client, which will name main client, and we will select the policy that we just made, and we will add it as a new client. Now, after the client is added, you should go and you will see that the applications are not set up. So go to Epic Account Services and set up the permissions. Only the online presence and friends should be enabled. Don't by mistake don't enable the country. You should not enable it. Go to linked clients, and whatever clients you made should be selected here. If by mistake you ever forget it, you will get an error that the client is not selected. The brand settings have to be filled if the game is going to release or you want to test with a large number of people, but other than that, it's not required. Let's copy the client IDs and paste them one by one uh, in the settings. As you can see, I don't think I need to say anything here. After that is done, you just need to Google 64 hexadecimal generator. On the first side, just make the digit 64 and number of results 1. Copy the encryption key and paste it. This is just a random 64 hexadecimal generator. Now you don't need EOS Plus, so we will just put it aside. And now we need to set up the Android and iOS. So copy the client ID and all the properties that you put down, just paste them there. It doesn't require any other setup, but the SDK takes the values from here. I will try from next update to make it by default. Now these overlays, if you need the EOS overlay, you need to do it. But now let's talk about this button. So if you want to activate this button, what you need to do is you need to go to your product settings, copy your organization name, and then paste it in the organization name, and copy your product name and paste it in the product name. And now if you click the button, it will open the dev portal for you directly. This is a quick, easy button. You don't need to like every time type dev portal and search for it. Now you should enable advanced logs and never enable country scope until you know what you are doing. So let's make this quality high. I don't know why it's on. So let's reopen the project so that the project is set up for us. Now the first thing that you will check if the EIK is active or not is you will have to open the output log, scroll up, and you will see the place where Unreal loads the system up, and you can see it defaulted for EIK. So that's working. If it basically prints this line, that means that anti-cheat is not working, but that's also intentional because in the editor it should not work. The SDK version is also correct, 1.16.1. So let's go and run up a quick test. Let's try open like add a event begin play node, then add is EIK active and make it print start. Now if that printing is true, that means that EIK is active and you are ready to do anything with EOS. But if it prints false, that means EIK is not active as of now. See, it says true, that means EIK is active. Now let's do one thing. Let's create a login with EIK node. What we can use this for is basically logging into EOS. Now you can use device ID, account portal. We will like go into the detail, but I just need to show you that yeah, plugin is set up and working. The extended logging logic we will work after this. So we will just print the error and let's try. This it works in editor also, so you will see that we do log in correctly, and see, we did login, we printed, got the ID printed. Now this error is also like we knew this error would come, both of these, because the no device ID existed and also EOS account did not exist. Now you will see that the second error did not come because this time the device ID was there, and every time we now log in, it will use the same device ID that it created for us before, although the string that you saw was a product ID. Now let's create a new folder named example content or example widgets. This folder is also available in the description if you want to download it. Let's create a widget. Let's name this WPP menu, where we are going to have the complete menu of the game itself. Now I will quickly go through and add all the buttons and the things that I think are needed for the process itself, like login, create, and you should see the result in a few seconds because this clip is running at a 550% speed. Uh, one more thing, the as I said, the links for like whatever I'm doing now is in the description. So if you want, you can download it and see how I did it. But I think because this is a short video, you can just follow along. I just added four normal buttons. One is for login, one is for create lobby, one is for find lobbies and join, and fourth is for find session by the ID and then join it. Now basically you have an input field where you put the ID and then it will join that thing. So let's check. Now we are back at normal speed. Let's go to empty level, create a new level, which is main menu. I should rename it as example content, right? Yeah. Let's put the main menu level here. And on event begin play, what we will do is we will get the mouse, sorry, we will get the player controller. And then from there, we will set the input mode to game only or UI only. I'm really sorry. And then set the mouse to show like this. Yeah. One more thing we need to do is we need to create a widget, which is this menu widget, and then after that, just add it to viewport and plug it in. Go back to the menu widget, and here let's clean up this widget a bit so we don't have any extra nodes. And let's go to the login thing and can select this composite string, and then we will get the selected index, and then we will make a switch on integer. Oh, or better than that, instead of making a switch on integer, we can do one thing because the options are device ID and then we like login with everything. So it's better that we just call the login using EIK. And here we will make a select node and pass the index. And the zeroth index is the device ID. The first index is the account portal. The second one is Steam. Yeah, it's the Steam, and then it's persistent auth. Right now there's one more thing. Now if this fails, because in the case of persistent auth, if the persistent auth fails, basically that means there is no saved account portal. So if the index is equal to 3, that means we were trying to log in using persistent auth and that failed. In that case, we need to log in again using an account portal so that the next time it saves your account. And that is it. Now let's just make a variable and save the product ID somewhere like this, and let's save this here also. Yeah, and now you can print this whenever, wherever, and however you want. We will also just add a print string and print the error same way here, if there is any error, of course. Then let's go and create the logic for the create lobby node. Create lobby, oh sorry, create AIK lobby, and then search for now you can see there are three basic settings, and it's very compressed now. So get the session settings and then break the struct. I'm sorry, you need to make a map. Remove this, make a map, and now you can have all the settings that you want. Remember, if you don't want settings, do not put anything, just leave it empty like this. But if you want settings, put the name of the setting and the value that you want to pass. Earlier we only supported strings, but now you can use strings, integers, and booleans. So let's make this maybe custom session name or anything like that. So this is the setup that we did. Now let's break the extra settings, and we have a lot of settings now, as the number of private session, like we should advertise the session or not, should we allow the players to join session, region settings, voice chat, presence, and these things like that. But the bucket ID is not still working. And the host migration, we will talk about host migration in the video ahead. And you can like also override the values and get the lobby's ID. Now let's make a print string, and let's make the lobby ID to be printed so that we can try joining it. And if it is an error, we will just say, hey, it's an error. Compile and save. And yeah, now here we will just execute a console command. So basically this one is important. You need to execute a console command to travel to the level that you want. So copy the level name that you want to travel, and then just type server travel space level name question mark listen. Listen basically means that player is the host, so that would be what we are going to use. Let's go back, and then we will just press on pressed event, and then we will find the session. Find the IK sessions. Now the session string is basically whatever settings that you want to pass. If you want to pass any, you can just type the. So basically these can be things like lobbies and matchmaking. I would like to pause here for a sec, and I'm back. So if this is success, we will just check if the first index is valid. Now this means if the first index is not valid, that means we found 0 sessions. So on false, we will just print a string that, hey, no sessions were found, and I will, oh, sorry, it should be 0 sessions found. Yeah. And now if this is true, that means the first session is valid. So we will just get the first session. Now, if you want to make a session browser, you can just browse through this, like use all the array, and then now we don't need to do anything on success and failure here, and that's done. Let's go back and make this find session by ID and join thing. This is pretty straightforward. What you need to do is get the text that the user has inputted. You can even use this for different reasons, but I'm using it for here. And then just find sessions by ID, and in the session ID pass the string. And if this is a failure, just print hey, the session was not found. Couldn't find a session with this ID. And if it was success, just call join EIK session. And in the session to join, you just need to break this. Oh, sorry, it should be this one. Yeah, break this and pass the session result here. And make sure to just hide the unrelated results, and that's it. Let's save this up, and this looks pretty good. Let's go and test. Before testing, we need to do one more thing. Just verify the settings are this, and then let's go to the editor preferences, and then the play, and let's make sure that we enable the logs. This way you can see what's happening without going to the text files and verifying later. So this will display the logs live before this opens up. Now I have a wide screen monitors, but I cannot use them because of some reasons, and also for recording, many people suggested not to use wide screen monitors because they have problems seeing, but now I'm not. So as you can see, both of them are ready. I will just make it a little bit smaller so you can see it properly. Yeah, let's log in with persistent auth. And because this is the first time I am logging in this game and account, you can see it opened up the account portal for me because it failed, of course, in the first thing. And yeah, I logged in, and if I now press create lobby, it says failed. Now why it failed? The reason you can see in the logs. The basic reason is basically like the number of people in the session was set to 0. That is an invalid number. So we need to close both of these sessions and go back to our create session logic. And you can see the public here. The number of public session is set to 0. We need to make it something like how will you create the session and join if the minimum number is 0. So let's go here and now try persistent auth, and you see it logged me in directly. I did not needed anything. Now I will just press a create lobby, and it was a success. I am in the map. You see it printed the map like that session ID somewhere after this. Yeah, I will copy this ID and go to my second and log in as a device ID. As you can see, it says successfully connected. I will paste the ID and press find session by ID and join. And as you can see, we both are in the same session. Now, of course, I made a mistake by using the first person shooter template because I cannot move here. Oh, I can move using the set input by game, but again, we are not replicated because it's a first person game. Now let's go back and restart. I need to show you something. Before that, let's copy this also so that we can check how you can see the game, like how you can see the session on the dev portal. So I will log in as persistent auth, create lobby, and then I can go back to this thing, check go to lobbies, and then I can search by attributes, paste the attribute name, string, not equal, and anything here, and you can see the session here. And this basically has the main hello thing, and that we did names and the players. Now if this I join, if I try to join this that session, log in, find lobbies and join, I was able to join the session, as you can see, and that should reflect on the website also. Refresh and you see total 2 players, both the IDs are shown here. These are product IDs, of course. So that is done. One last small thing that I wanted to show is the basic host migration support that we added in this version. So for that, what you need to do is you just need to go to your project settings and verify whatever like you have a game instance. If you don't, just create a new game instance like I am doing. I will name this BP game instance and make a event initialize node. Yeah, like this, and then call on host migrated. Now, basically what you will need to do is you need to create a bind to this. So on host migrated, whatever function you want to name, just name it that. And if it fails to bind it, just give it a delay of 2 seconds and retry. It will not loop again and again, so don't worry about that. And then whenever this host migrated comes out to be true, just execute a console command to travel to the level name that you selected. And then if it is false, just open the level name and pass the join address that you had. Compile and save. And let's go back and test. Oh, before that, let's go to the project settings and maps and modes and select the default map to your main menu map. So when you get kicked out of a session, you go to the main menu map and don't stay in the main map itself, because this can confuse you if when you try host migration. So I think so everything looks good. Yeah, we need to turn on host migration from the project settings also. I forgot. In the create session thing, you need to enable the host migration. Now let's go and press login with device ID. And here I will use the persistent auth and login. Create lobby. I am in the lobby. Now I will try here, find lobbies and join. I joined, and now what I will do is, you can see like the join was success. I will close the persistent auth. I got thrown back to the menu and I'm back in a session. And if we go over here, you will see that the lobby was updated. I was thrown out of the session and came back. And even the session exists here properly, and that's the only ID that's in the session, and that is the owner. So that is working properly. I hope that like whatever you wanted to see was there. If anything is missing, the docs are the best place to check, or feel free to disturb us on Discord. Will more than, I don't know, 200 questions were solved last year only on the certain topics. Like I was just counting it one day and it was a huge number. So that said, whatever like you want to ask, just join Discord and throw your questions in. Someone will get back to you as soon as possible. That said, thanks a lot for watching and meet you in the next one.